Missouri House Bill number 2051 says, no instruction material or extracurricular activity sponsored by a public school that discusses sexual orientation other than in scientific instruction concerning human reproduction shall be provided in any public school. It is known in Missouri as the Don't Say Gay bill. It would allow absolutely no discussion of sexual orientation in any public school. No discussion at all, including any discussion of bullying. Republican State Representative Zach Wyatt yesterday stood up and said this.
Students need to feel safe when they go to school and be able to speak with teachers, counselors, and administrators when they're getting bullied. This bill will make that illegal.
There was a Republican legislator opposing a Republican anti-gay bill. In that same speech against the bill in the Missouri Senate Capitol yesterday, Representative Zach Wyatt also said this.
I will not lie to myself anymore about my own sexuality. It has probably been the hardest thing to come to terms with. I have always ignored it. I didn't even think about it or want to talk about it. I have not been immune to it. I hear the comments, usually snide ones, about me. Today I ask you to stand with me as a proud Republican, a proud veteran, and a proud gay man who wants to protect all kids addressing bullying in our schools.
Joining me now for his first national television interview, Republican Missouri State Representative Zach Wyatt. Zach, thank you very much for joining me tonight, and tell us what your thought process was in deciding to stand up not only in opposition to that bill, but to speak about yourself.
Well, first off, Lawrence, thanks a lot for having me on this evening. It took a lot of I'd say a lot of thought for me to think about what I was going to do this week. It was probably in January when I really came to terms with that I was a gay man. And then, when this bill came out, House Bill 2051, I truly wanted to lead on this issue and not have be at the sidelines anymore. And
the climate that you're working in there is really, I think, stunning for people certainly outside of Missouri who aren't aware of it. I just want to read one of the comments of one of your colleagues. One of the bill's co-sponsors, Dwight Scharnhorst, told the Huffington Post that talking about gay issues of any kind, whether it be bullying or anything else, would lead to other discussions, and then he said, quote, "There is no need to talk about Billy wanting to marry a goat." That's the legislative body that you work in.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I know Representative Scharnhorst really well, and he's always been great towards me and towards other members in the body. I think that there's some concern for what he said, but he has actually since then came up and talked with me and talked with other members, and I really appreciate that. He wanted to make sure that we didn't know that it wasn't meant towards us, and I think it was just something that he said off the cuff.
What everyone watching this show, I think, is thinking is, in the most simple terms, why are you a Republican? Why did you, when you decided to go into pursuing public office, decide to go into it in this era as a Republican, knowing where the Republican Party is nationally, knowing where it is locally in Missouri on issues involving gay rights?
The thing is I'm not a one-issue person, Lawrence. I really, truly believe that we need to have a smaller government. We need to have a balanced budget. In the state here in Missouri, we have a balanced budget, and I think that's what saved us in these tough economic times. And I really think that we should give more money to the taxpayers. They shouldn't be paying more into our government. We should be giving more back to them, and we should have an efficient government.
What would you say to other Republicans out there, particularly gay Republicans who are not openly gay, and office holders in terms of what might be their responsibility in dealing with this issue publicly. Did you feel you had a responsibility to tell Missouri, to tell the country this about yourself?
You know, I really did. I really thought that I needed to step up and lead on this issue. As you know, I'm not going to be returning to the legislature next year because I have been accepted to go to the University of Hawaii to study marine biology. So I had made that decision before I decided to come out, and I just wanted to make sure that, if I could get one student to not go home and be go home from being bullied and hurt themselves, and or worse yet, possibly take their own life. I think I've done my job as a state representative. Now, for the people that are Republicans that might not be out openly and they're serving in an elected capacity, just I really look towards them, and hopefully they'll come to terms with their sexuality as well on their own terms. It's a very personal thing, and to be elected, we're all in this fishbowl, and I just really wanted to make sure that the people of Missouri truly knew that the Republican Party of Missouri is inclusive to it is inclusive, and I can tell you there's 106 of us out of 163 down in Jefferson City, and each of us have something different to bring to the table, and I really enjoy that.
Missouri State Representative Zach Wyatt gets tonight's last word. Thanks for joining us tonight, Zach.
Thank you very much, Lawrence.
You're going to have the last word online at our blog, thelastword.msnbc.com, and you can follow my tweets at Lawrence.